With great joy in our hearts, we announce the arrival of our African mama all the way from Uganda to the Chinese environment. Hello everyone, welcome back to another segment. In today's episode, let's dive into African lady who just got married to a Chinese husband based in China. Indeed, it will amaze you that a African lady she has gotten used to the Chinese environment, and someone will like, how did it go and how did it started, and what is that thing secret that made her, to sprang forth and be able to enjoy the Chinese environment. Well, you can note that African lady and her boss and some of the theme with her husband, they are going to the airport. To do what? Is she traveling back to the land of Africa? Well, you see the joy, the happiness, and the move will keep you in question. I just want to see what is happening. Well, it will surprise you to note that a African lady mom is around. And in our last episode, we'll be talking about African lady mom, where they did the preparation of where she will stay and all of that, the wedding procedure and all of that, because an African mom will not leave her daughter alone. How will she leave her daughter alone? It's impossible. She have to know where her daughter is marrying from. Is it under the rock? Is it on the mountain? Is it in the zoo? Or is it in a flat land? She wants to know that place her daughter is being married from. That is the secret of African mom. The joy, the happiness of seeing her daughter once again crept in her heart, and also to see her in-law crept in her heart. She felt so joyous, she felt so pleased, and she felt so much happy to have seen them once again. It was a long journey, but I want to say a big congratulations to her African lady to have, been able to carry her mom all the way from the African environment to the Chinese environment. She has passed through a lot, like mountains, road, bush, forest, and desert to reach into the Chinese environment. The joy cannot be expressed in this package. As you can see, they were filled with joy, but notwithstanding, our African lady mom, our African grandmama, says she's tired. It's a long journey, and apart from that, the plane has landed, and they didn't arrive some on time, so she has to wait for them to come. So you can see the stress of the journey, and you can note that she reminding them of her birthday, which is today. Well, why is she announcing her birthday? Yes, that is what makes her so much happy, and again to see her in-law and her daughter in good shape, in good health, and in good environment. On this course, many were like, who want to get married to the Chinese husband, who want to get married to the Chinese husband. There's so many person that, where can I find the Chinese husband? Please mind you, we're not doing matching here. We're just, showing you the secrets and the joy that comes when you get married to a Chinese person. Some did blind dates and fell into the wrong hand, while others, get married or blended without even knowing where the man is from, and they fell into the very right hand, the right environment, the right people, and the right, country. Yes, I'm going to include the right country, include the community. If when we're talking about community, we're not talking about one person. We're talking about the group of people living in that particular environment where they're living. All the states, character entails in whatever thing we do, and attitude applied also. For she was able to accept the fact that she has not seen where her husband is from, but her faith, FATE, led her so well that she landed in a very good family. A family where they appreciate her, they welcomed her, and they want to see joy and happiness in her springing forth every day. For some person to is it the same place where all the African ladies have been into, or the same locality or environment, or should I say state Well, in every country, there is state, in every country, there is ethnic group, and in every country, there is a village or there's a small community, depending on whichever way you can classify it. Some found themselves in the city, while some African lady found themselves in the village, why some found themselves in the community, why some found themselves, in the little ethnic group, and some found themselves close to the president or even to, the state or wherever. So, but notwithstanding, faith itself leads one to the right direction. So for those clicking, I want a Chinese husband, you have to accompany it with prayer and also allow faith to give you what it has for you. All right, before we proceed further, we just want to say we thank the Most High God for granting her safe trip and safe journey all the way from Africa to the Chinese environment. The attitude or characteristic of an African mother always displays itself wherever you find them. You will note that a African lady mom did not just sit when she came, she first stood to start visualize, calculating all the environment with her eyes. Why standing? Well, the birds or African lady husband have to tell her, they have to show her the place. This is the room, this is the kitchen, and she have to know where and how her daughter have handled the home and the place her daughter is going to stay or the rest of her life. All African mom have this instinct in their mind, or have this should I say belief, or have these expectations that their daughter should be in the right hand and should be cared for. That is their concern. That is their, that makes them to be relaxed, and that makes them to have peace of mind when they enter a territory or place where their husband is being, their daughter is being married from, and they notice some, irrelevant actions, and they notice some, uncultured environments. They became so perplexed, and they became so wondering why, what, and all of that would be running through their mind. But on this cause, a African lady mom was pleased with what she saw, that the home, although the bed wasn't made, and she would definitely question her daughter, why is that bed not made? we would hear that in the later episode. Well, you note that she became so calm, understanding that the fact this is our first arrival, and she need just rest, and doesn't need a kind of more discussion. But our Chinese husband and also our Chinese fellow boss and our Chinese wife could not even allow her, to rest a bit, but started tabling a kind of family problem, which gets our African lady mom sitting so quietly and trying to detect, understanding what the boss is saying. Well, the use of interpreter or translation works so much in this particular clip here. You can see that the both parties needs to understand and needs to communicate well. Well, on this course, they have to use phone for translation, but he wants to get from African lady mom and even from our African lady. But funny enough, he got married to a quiet, calm family. If it were to be some family, well, they would just run out and start running and start talking and talking. Both the one that say you should talk and both the ones you should say you should not talk. But on this course, that African lady mom became so calm and quiet because this is her first arrival. As in African culture, what is demanded that the first time a visitor comes into your home, the first thing you would do is to offer the person a chill drink, and also, in fact, if you have a good pounded yam with correct African bottom pot soup, if you cannot be able to, let me see there in the Chinese environment, they will not be able to prepare, that kind of food the mom would like, but at least there should be local markets in every state, in every country. There is a market for each state. There is a market where you find vegetable, where you find some mixed vegetable, But I think a African lady, she had an idea what her mom loves the most. Mothers at this age, at the old age, they don't eat anyhow. They pick food, and someone will be asking, what does it mean to pick food? Well, they select food. They don't eat anyhow because of their age factor. At old age, there are some certain things the mom would deviate herself from eating, why there are some things she needs to eat, so she don't just eat. And I believe our African lady knows what the mom loves so much. So on this ground, bringing all kinds of family questions or family discussion randomly is not needed by African grandmama. What she needs is just good food, sleep, a lot of water. She takes a bath and then rest her head because it's a long journey. She has taken a long journey. Coupled with her age, she doesn't need to sit and receive a kind of family discussion or family complaints. So I think where they got it wrong on this state is on that particular ground for allowing her African grandmama after entering the home to start tabling a kind of family problem or start complaining about their health. That according to the boss, he said his health is actually under challenges. But I think bringing it in at the first entrance of our African mama does not worth it. What is your opinion about this particular statement or what I said? If you have a good idea, you can also drop it at the comment section. Are they supposed to bring family problem at her first entrance? Or are they supposed to entertain her with a good special vegetable, different kind of vegetables, soft drink, not sugary drink, soft drink and correct meal? Well, if you have idea, you can also drop it at the comment section. What is your thought about this? Well, before we proceed, we just want to say big congratulations to African grandmama. Hey, to our African grandmama for obtaining the 60th birthday. It's not an easy task. We so much thank God, for preserving our African grandmama to this particular age and for her to witness the celebration, the wedding, and the celebration of her daughter, not in the African environment but in the Chinese environment. We can't wait to see how the kids will look like. Look so beautiful. A mix, should I say blusher? Or sorry? Well, till then, let's enjoy the one at the moment. You see from the character of a Chinese husband and even from the boss that they're so kind, they're so understanding, and they have, a human feelings and a human heart. Realizing that our African lady mom needs some rest, that he then said, let her bath, change her clothes, and then, she's going to sleep. And tomorrow, according to what they're saying, they're going to celebrate our birthday in a very grand style. And I hope, you will not mix that particular episode. Well, you will note that not only did he say so, he said that he's going to add additional stuff by buying our African lady mom good beautiful clothing, and I believe it to be colorful clothing, noticing that African lady mom dressed in a fantastic way. And he said that she don't need to go outside with what she's wearing. Well, maybe the Chinese people have the way of dressing in a long coat and mostly with your Converse, long trouser and a top. We can't wait to see our African grandmama in that apparel. Well, I believe that she's going to look so beautiful in it, and she will look like in her 20s, or should I say sweet 20. Well, and also it's that African lady was so much calm. She was felt so much calm, and felt so much pleased to have gotten her mother in the Chinese environment. And guess what? The next step would be for the preparation for the wedding celebration that is coming ahead. We have to do that wedding. They have to welcome her traditionally or in the Chinese way into the Chinese environment. While some persons miss that, while some persons are so much lucky and favored, I should say favored, not lucky. They are so favored to have gotten a Chinese husband, and every rite, every step, and every procedure is being followed accordingly to welcomed and also to marry her fully. Why for some other person? Some will say it's Ghana must go wedding, but I don't understand what is the meaning of Ghana must go or bag wedding. Well, if you fall under that category, we are not making making you a laughing stock, but I think it's very proper when it comes to marriage to follow all the procedure that is necessary, so as tomorrow will not hear super story. What a procedure he's proceeding. As you can see that our rival was so gracious, and then they are so much happy and pleased to have her in the Chinese environment. It is time for them to depart and to leave her African grandmama to have a kind of relaxation. She needs to relax, and she needs to get herself prepared for tomorrow events. Alright, this is where I'll be wrapping up today's episode, and I hope you're enlightened on today's package. Please do stay tuned and stay blessed. And always remember, lovelies, stay good for now. Bye for now.